It's no surprise that out of the many licensed games based on Nickelodeon's vast library of cartoons, Spongebob has become the most prominent, even getting a remaster not too long ago. I mean, the cartoon itself, especially the earlier seasons and the first movie, have gone on to be phenomenons in media and meme culture. But what about the underdogs? Are games like Fairly Oddparents Breakin' the Rules and Rugrats Royal Ransom really so bad that we just pretend they don't exist while in turn continue to celebrate games like Battle for Bikini Bottom and movie The Game? Well, today I'm going to find out as I play a handful of Nickelodeon's releases and see if they really deserve to be tossed into the tunnels of twilight, the acres of anonymity, the nuances of non-recognition. But before we can run, we must walk. And before we can walk, we must crawl. Just like a Rugrat. Released almost 20 years ago, this game is based on the smash hit cartoon that followed a group of daring diaper wearers as they embark on imaginary adventures of the dangerous kind. Yeah, they recently got a reboot, but we don't talk about that. The game is a simple 3D platformer adventure that takes place inside of the Play Palace 3000, invented by Tommy's father, Stu Pickles. But I think the invention is just an excuse for Stu Pickles to make a penis joke.
You should see it when it's fully extended.
Angelica, the local bully, takes a bunch of the Rugrats' toys and holds them hostage inside of the tallest tower in the Play Palace, and it's up to the Rugrats to venture through the many levels within the palace, collecting batteries along the way to unlock more worlds to explore. You're given a hub world and choose which level you'd like to enter, each one containing its own theme and gameplay style.
Nice.
The game itself doesn't look too bad either, especially for 2002. The characters are like their cartoon counterparts, and for the most part the cutscenes are smoothly animated. The environments are pretty nice, and they always do a good job in keeping the theme of the world you're in consistent. You could do much worse with a bad looking game. The music is also decent. It's nothing amazing, but the songs match the level you're in, and some of them are catchy enough that you won't mind what you're hearing as you run around. The game offers you 3 levels of difficulty: Baby Easy, Rugrat Medium, and Reptar Tough. And I ain't an easy baby, I'll tell you that much. Plus, how hard could a Rugrats video game be on Reptar Tough? Yeah, so as it turns out, this game goes from being an okay time running around gathering collectibles to just an exaggeratedly difficult experience, with no consistency between levels at all. Your first 2 worlds available are a snow-covered mountain with a race to compete in, a snowman to build, and another level where I kinda think I cheated my way through, so I was never really sure what the objective was, I just kinda beat the level. The other world available is a jungle with another race to compete in, this time in a boat against crocodiles, monkeys to pick up and throw in cages, and papayas to kidnap from their families and ship off to the countryside to be devoured.
Oh, fuck me! No! Mom! Help me, Mom! No! Mom!
Green papaya. Stand it up.
You can find green papaya. The snow world is easy enough, with the most challenging level being the race, but I'm sure that's because I have it set to Reptar Tough. But it's also the fastest paced and most fun out of all the levels in the first 2 worlds, if I'm being completely honest with you. The other race against the crocodiles is way too difficult, and I can't even tell if it's because of the Reptar Tough difficulty or just because the boat controls like ass and there are bombs all over the water. You constantly run into one, and if you lose your health completely, you get shot out of the Play Palace and must pay another 100 coins in order to re-enter. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that, didn't I? You start the game with 500 coins, and it costs 100 to enter the Play Palace anytime you wish to play. You can find coins scattered all over the levels you enter, and it's encouraged to find them because if you run out of 1-ups in the game, then... We're getting ahead of ourselves. You see, the other type of levels besides the races are platforming focused. And well, the babies all control exactly the same. You're free to change who you play as any time in between levels, your choices being Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, and Kimmy, but all they can really do is jump, run, and roll. Occasionally, you get the ability to throw snow cones or snowballs depending on the level's theme, but there's absolutely nothing special about it. Nothing. They all run at the same speed and roll the same roll. You're pretty much just choosing your favorite character with no other consequence or naysay about it. But this is just the beginning of the game, so let's beat this level. Oh, I'll just play the level from the beginning and kicks you out to the menu, and God help you if you didn't save your game, because you'll lose all your progress. I'm not saying Reptar Tough is actually tough. I'm just saying that I tried again, but this time I put the game on baby easy for the sake of the video. It's not hard. This game's not hard. It's just controls. I blame the controls. I don't care what you say. Everyone knows a good gamer always blames the controls. Some things I noticed playing through this on the easiest difficulty. For one thing, it's fucking boring now. You see, the first race in the snow mountain was actually fun on the Reptar Tough difficulty because the AI could actually keep up with you, so you were constantly alert and trying your hardest to stay ahead while dodging obstacles and collecting small batteries, since you need those to unlock even more levels and continue making progress. It's fun, it's a great start to the game, and on the easy difficulty, the AI can't keep up, and since you're always so far ahead, you get bored really fast. The platforming levels are the same thing. The Angelica boxes scattered around the levels that explode on contact are now completely gone, which means instead of constantly trying to avoid them, you're kind of just running around these big open spaces with nothing else to do but get to point B or collect all the items needed to move on. And that's so boring. So, when we collect enough batteries, we're able to open up the next area. A circus, the ocean, and Arabia, baby. The circus levels consist of you running again from point A to point B through a carnival, and I actually like this one just because I like circus themed stuff in video games, not in real life though. Another level consists of you jumping through an obstacle course, circa de Rugrats style. This one is honestly kind of boring. You're just really holding X and jumping from one trampoline to the next. The next level is a mini game where you fly a plane around and you must shoot some clowns and some moving trucks, and this one sucks. Someone thought it would be a good idea to make you fly a plane, but your targets are all floor level in trucks, which makes it hard to shoot anything without hitting everything with your plane and losing so much health. Why not have me shoot other planes? Why not have me drive a truck and ram other trucks? Anything would have been better than this. Anything, just have me run over the fucking babies. I don't fucking care. Arabia honestly isn't bad. There's a magic carpet ride with the objective being to collect a bunch of gems, a platforming level with the objective being to collect a bunch of gems, and a really easy level that's an on-rails shooter, and you don't even have to aim correctly to absolutely destroy everything in your path. I spent the least amount of time here, and that's probably why I enjoyed it so much. The ocean world contains one race, which is fun enough and doesn't overstay its welcome like the first two races in the game do, and the other level is a submarine level that is probably the worst thing in the entire game, hands down. Holy shit, is it the most boring thing ever made? We get enough batteries and bada bing bada boom, 3 new worlds open up. Dino Land, the Moon, and my personal favorite, Medieval World. This world is harmless enough, and I was actually done with it in like just 10 minutes. The first level, we just run around collecting a few objects to fix the spaceship. The next one, we're running around collecting rats and throwing them into the gas chamber. And the last is a moon buggy level where we drive around collecting cheese, grommet. The Dino World is probably the worst besides the submarine level just because it isn't all that interesting, and it's very redundant. It's redundant. The first part is running around and sneaking your way onto a dinosaur who thinks he's Michael Jackson. Once you're on the dinosaur, you run around collecting bones and taking them to the pile of bones. The other half is you picking up these eggs and slowly making your way to a pterodactyl and flying them to their appropriate nest. It's boring and it goes on for way too long. The last world is the medieval world, and I love this one. Don't get me wrong, these levels are very basic, but I love medieval shit. The first part is running around with a bow and shooting barrels to collect apples, and it's boring, but I really like the level design. Same goes for the second half, where you can collect spells to protect yourself and jump higher, which helps you find secrets on buildings and trees. So we're finally at the final battle, Angelica's castle. So you use this catapult thing and slowly drive around pushing buttons, then slowly charge a catapult and slowly do damage to the door until it breaks open, revealing another door underneath, which means we have to find another button that matches the symbol and repeat. And sometimes it feels borderline torturous the way these shots are set up. So yeah, after a very repetitive and dull final level, we kick Angelica out of the castle and insult her dirty fucking scent. And the game ends. Now, throughout the levels, there's money to find, and this money helps you unlock 2-player minigames and new characters to play in these minigames. And I've collected a solid amount of money in my journeys, so let's take a look at the things we can buy. Where's my money? Tommy, where the fuck's my money? That's Rugrats royal dog shit for the shit station too. Released just a year after Rugrats Royal Ransom in 2003, Fairly Oddparents Breaking the Rules graced our PlayStation 2s, GameCubes, and PCs. Now, I'm playing the PlayStation 2 version, so believe me when I say that this version is the best reviewed one out of the 3 different versions. And that kind of fucking sucks, considering this version kind of fucking sucks. Breaking the Rules starts off making an okay impression for like the first 3 seconds. It uses an instrumental version of it's a banger of a theme song, and I like how it looks like the start of an episode, although what is that face? Like what expression is that even supposed to be? What? I've never made that fucking face in my life. Anyway, the opening cutscene starts and oh my sweet baby rays. So yeah, this game is ugly as balls in the middle of winter. The animation is basically non-existent, with the characters' mouths being the only thing moving, and the audio quality, the fucking audio quality.
You know we can't be seen by anyone but you! Them's the rules, see?
Rules? This is no time for rules. I wish we wouldn't have to follow those stupid rules.
The transitions are even worse. Just look at this fucking scene where something is supposed to happen, I think.
I'm betting this isn't good news.
Ignoring the audio quality and the animation, the story revolves around Timmy wishing for them to not have to follow the rules, and that somehow leaves it on the floor. Vicky finds it, picks it up, and probably the greatest cutscene ever made.
No!
And so yeah, she starts making wishes and wreaking havoc. Meanwhile, Timmy, Cosmo, and Wanda are taken to fairy court for losing the rules and are given a set amount of time to recover the pages or they're stripped of their fairy titles.
How do you plead?
I'll plead backward.
The worst part about all of this is that the story itself isn't the worst. There's a lot, and I mean a lot of dialogue here, and most of it is well written.
I wish Vicky didn't have that book. Well, I wish you were still in bed asleep so I wouldn't have to deal with you and your freaky, disgusting habits.
We're in trouble. Now we're in trouble in Timmy's dreams. Now we're spinning around in trouble in Timmy's dreams. Whee!
The music is forgettable as all fuck, and I struggle to remember a single song from any level. Like, I could hear it, and I know it's fairly Oddparents themed, but it's like you guys didn't even try to come up with something inventive or something that's like, yeah, this goes with this level. It's fucking boring. As for the gameplay, it's a typical 3D platformer. You run and you jump, and well, that's honestly it. It's kind of lower than a typical 3D platformer. Usually each level comes with a bonus ability that goes with the theme of the level, but these really do absolutely nothing. During a level at camp, Cosmo turns into this beaver chainsaw that lets you cut down trees. In another level where you're in a video game, you can shoot these ball marble things to kill the enemies, but it doesn't feel good, and that's my main problem. Nothing feels good in this game. The jumping sucks, and it feels like you never jump high enough, and even when you do, there's just something, like I don't know what it is, but it sucks. And it leads to a monotonous experience that I was over by the third level. I just couldn't finish this game. I was falling asleep as I was playing it. I did look up some gameplay to see if it was worth playing further, but aside from like some of the late levels where you play as Dog Timmy Turner, it just all looked the fucking same to me. This game sucks. And honestly, I could really use a trip to the beach right now. Beach Bandits. Rocket power. Released in 2002, the same year as Rugrats Royale.
With cheese, Mr. Squidward, with cheese.
You see, I used to play this game so much as a child, and wanting to replay it as an adult was kind of the inspiration for this entire video. The game's presentation is fantastic, with the menu being laid over the shore shack and a chill surf rock instrumental playing over the menu.
Rocket power!
Now, the story for the show is basically just 4 friends living by the beach while having fun, surfing, skateboarding, rollerblading, all things I don't do. And that was it. The game's story, on the other hand, and prepare yourself for this one, revolves around the first weeks of summer break, and the Rocket Power gang is ready to spend it at the beach doing what surfers do, surfing, baby. But they notice that all the sand has been taken from the beach. They start doing some investigating and find out this mysterious new company, Golem Industries, might be keeping some darker secrets behind their walls. Before we continue talking about the story in further detail, let's surf into the gameplay. Surf. Get it? They fucking surf. The gameplay itself is pretty basic. The game mixes a small open world adventure with platforming elements, but it doesn't stop there. You're free to skateboard or rollerblade almost any time. And did I say rollerblade? You can choose from any of the 4 characters with the exception of character specific levels throughout the story mode. When in the hub world, you're usually just going around talking to people and being given missions, like skating around and collecting X amount of objects, or finding enough silver coins to play one of the game's mini games that it's required to play before you get through the story mode. It's a pizza! There's skating challenges, bumper cars, shooting galleries, there's races. Connect the line. The controls themselves are honestly smooth, and I'm even impressed with how well the skateboarding and rollerblading controls. The actual doing tricks while skating, it feels a bit rough and dated, but it's responsive enough that you're able to look past it and still have a good time. doing these fucking tricks. The starfish, bitch. Can you do the starfish, Steve-O? The animation quality isn't the worst either. Sure, the characters have one expression and that's animatronic, but their mouths always sync up with what they say to each other. The voice acting is also pretty good. Like, I can't say for sure if it's like the cast from the show reprising their roles here, but everyone sounds like their cartoon counterpart. The game is funny at times, and even though there's tons of dialogue, I found myself rarely ever skipping the cutscenes, which you can't really do. You can skip dialogue and it just kind of leads to this awkward silence between characters, which there's one that's fucking hilarious. The music is honestly pretty fucking great. Each level has like its own little theme that comes with variations on it as you play throughout the level. When you're in the forest and that country song plays, I can't help but get up and do a little ditty, a little 1-2 skidoo. You know what I'm saying? And then like as you keep playing and progress further, it starts adding instruments and this fucking groovy ass fucking country bass, and I start doing the 1-2 buckle my shoe. Wow. Back to the story though. The kids find out there's something fishy going on at the local lakes. Fish, get it? Fishy lakes. Something's fishy going in the... And they go investigate. And of course, just like the sand from the beaches, someone has been stealing the water from the lakes. So you run through the mountains, going from area to area, collecting wood to build a bridge, following a tube of water through a jungle that repeats itself if you take the wrong path, going down a zip line and potentially causing irreparable damage to your child's school. Eventually, you play as Twister, the cameraman of the group, and you're tasked with running through some offices and taking some damning photo evidence to show the police and take down Gollum Industries. We destroy the factory, taking the water, and now we're free to explore the lakes. You take control as Reggie on this jet ski and you explore the lakes. After some more platforming, that controls nicely, by the way. Like, real quick side note, the platforming in this game is above average. The jumping always feels nice and kind of floaty, but it floaty in a good way, and you get plenty of air, and the levels themselves have decent layouts with alternate paths to take to find hidden gold coins that unlock extras in the menu or the multiplayer. You can unlock new characters, blah blah blah, with the gold coins. We get back onto the jet ski and explore this weird base with a bunch of buttons to find and push in order to blow it up. Shortly after destroying the base, Gollum sends a giant fucking robot shark and try to kill Reggie. And I mean, it's pretty much the easiest boss fight in the whole motherfucking game. With the lakes back to normal, we head on back to Ocean Shores to find 15 more coins, and we're introduced to probably the worst character in the game.
Maybe that'll get our sand back. Man, I have got to go surfing!
Oh, I doubt that will happen. Come on!
Eric fucking Gollum. Son of a adult Gollum. Is that his name? I don't think they ever say his name. I'm gonna call him Daddy Gollum from now on. See, Daddy, look at that fucking gold tooth. That man, Mary Rich is all I'm saying. We head off to Wishing Waters, a water park where the stolen sand and water are being taken. We explore the water park to find the hidden entrance, and once inside, we find ourselves in a robot factory, building ourselves a robot body. We're introduced to the next big baddie here, Cyrus, the artificial intelligence.
If you will not join us, you will be deactivated.
We take control of the robot and go through some rigorous training with a robot sergeant, and honestly, this is part of the game that kind of sucks. The robot is very slow, and unlike the regular characters, jumping feels clunky, and you often miss the jumps you have to take. And it's also funny just how extensive the robot training is, because the actual mission that you go on with the robot is like the most boring, slow-paced walk across a very, very long hallway. I mean, like, it's the most walking simulator thing ever. After all this, we get to start the boss fight against Cyrus, and it's actually decent. There's 28 microchips, and you're meant to skateboard around and destroy them while avoiding these skating robots with swords. And sure, it drags a bit towards the end when you're looking for those last few out of sight chips, but overall, it's a fun boss fight. We're once again tasked with taking more pictures to use against Gollum Industries, so Rocket Power can use it in Rocket Power Court, and we destroy their undercover robot base. Once back to Ocean Shores, we collect 15 coins again, and this time we find out that Ocean Shores is on the verge of shutting down, including that fast food place that Otto and Reggie's dad owns. Anyway, we find out Mondo Mountain is the home base to all of Gollum Industries. Gollum? I don't know I don't remember how they call it, and I'm too lazy to look it up. I'm just gonna call it Gollum Industries. So we head out to take them down once and for all. We race down this mountain to be told about the very obvious secret entrance. The actual character animations, especially during this part, they remain hilariously terrible. I mean, just look at what has to be one of my favorite parts in the fucking game.
Oh no!
I don't wanna be alive.
So yeah, we explore Mondo Mountain, and honestly, for being the last level, it kinda sucks. I mean, it starts off strong. The actual mountain and the volcano climbing parts are fun with some decent platforming and even more great music. But once we get into the actual factory, like, the level design becomes shit. There's this long stretch where we're going through these dark vents, and honestly it goes on for so long, and the layout itself can be pretty confusing, which leads to a bunch of unintentional backtracking. Also, unlike the previous levels that all felt like they went in with a specific theme and had some interesting level designs in the way things looked, this level doesn't even have that. It's just long stretched out hallways that have buttons that open up even more long hallways, and at one point you open up this fucking ninja room that you fight ninja robots in. Where the fuck did that come from? We're in vents. We're in vents trying to get into the robot factories. Why is there a ninja factory in vents? What? We have another run around and take pictures level, except this time it's on rails and it's really fucking slow and boring. Sweet baby race. Fuck Mondo Mountain. All my homies hate Mondo Mountain. So after this, we finally face off against Daddy Golem, and honestly it kind of sucks he isn't in the game more, because he appears about once per level to threaten us with some kind of weapon or attack. But in my opinion, he's a really cool villain who should have gotten more screen time. He's got charisma, confidence, and we finally face off against him. The game kind of takes a dark turn, and it's kind of sick for a fucking Nickelodeon license game.
My machine! Oh! I have to release the pressure, quickly! Safety valves are fused! The pressure! It can't take it! Whoa, surprise!
We kill Daddy Golem and head back to Ocean Shores, where Eric Golem is getting ready to kill everyone in the town by drowning them in a tsunami. Fucking excuse me, where are your parents, kid? I mean, obviously I just killed your dad. Anyway, the real final battle starts, and it's a series of races between each of the Rocket Power kids and Eric, and this sucks. Oh my god, the fight against Daddy Golem was honestly pretty good, and it's followed up by these 4 races that drag on for so long. After these really underwhelming races, the game ends with us stopping the tsunami, and it turns out Eric is gonna be in trouble when his real dad finds out. But what has he been up to? I'm sorry, Rulez. You're telling me this kid's building this robotic ass fucking empire behind his dad's back? What kind of Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated nonsense is this? Yeah, they fucking do the boogly wiggly wiggly. And that's Rocket Power Beach Bandits. Mom, can we have some Luigi's Mansion?
No, honey.
But Mom, why?
We have Luigi's Mansion at home, honey.
But Mom, but it's not the Luigi's Mansion I want. The Luigi's Mansion I want.
Honey, you know what
something
can
that
happen.
it
I
has
tried
Luigi in it,
I
and
worked
you
so
go
hard,
around
and it's just
getting
your
ghosts,
father
and it's
left us
fun,
for
and you
that
have to
big
save
name
Mario and
Clarice
Princess
next door, and
Peach,
you
at
want
least
me
in
to
the new
fucking
one.
buy you
I'm not
Luigi's
gonna lie, I've
Mansion. Do I
never
look
played
like I
much
got
of Luigi's Mansion,
money, honey? We
so
got
I don't
Luigi's
really know how
Mansion at
much of
home,
that
and I
is
wish you
actually
were
accurate to
there.
what I'm saying or to
There's
this
nothing I can
description.
do.
I just
Maybe
don't
they're
have
so
much things to
horrible,
say. I
and I
just
can't
really
buy the things you want.
Jimmy Neutron Attack of the Twonkies was released in 2004, being the latest of the games we've covered so far. The game isn't just based on the Nickelodeon series, it's based on one specific episode, Attack of the Twonkies, which in turn is basically just a big old parody of the Gremlins movies. Jimmy visits another planet in order to collect resources from it and research them on his return. He realizes he bought a cute little butt plug stowaway that Carl adopts and calls a Twonkie. But creepy stuff happens in Retroville, and upon hearing music, the cute little Twonkies become tiny little terrors that wreak havoc in Retroville and its citizens, and it's up to Jimmy to put a stop to it. The game follows the story of the episode very closely, with the differences being that the game actually contains more story and it isn't just shoehorned in. I gotta say, the writing is like watching the cartoon. In a game like this that expands on basically a 1-hour special, you would think that the stuff added in for the game would be lower quality, but if I'm being honest, I never thought it dipped in quality. The writing is good throughout, the voice acting is great, and it really feels like playing through an episode thanks to it being a video game.
I came in here to see the llamas, and this monkey grabbed my glasses and ran into the office.
A monkey?
Yes, Jimmy, a monkey. You know, 2 arms, 2 legs, a tail, a cute little button face, a pair of glasses. Well, now he has glasses, but he didn't have them before because he's a monkey.
The music is also pretty fucking great. It might just be nostalgia because growing up this was easily one of my favorite video games ever, and Jimmy Neutron has always been one of my favorite cartoons ever. But the music fits the levels and it's easy on the ears. It very much resembles the music from the show, so if you're a fan of that, you'll love the music in this game. The gameplay sort of changes a bit as you play through the story, and I personally would split it in 2 halves. The first half of the game is very much adventure based with light platforming spread throughout. You jump around Jimmy's lab, solve some quote unquote puzzles on a space station and fly a rocket to a planet, run around the planet, search for resources, and then run around the school, again solving minor puzzles along the way to help out the students throughout the school. The second half of the game starts when you reach Jimmy's room and you craft the VDR, which lets you suck up the smaller Twonkies Luigi's Mansion style, and the Shinograph, which lets you shrink the Snobbers back to their smaller form to be sucked up with the VDR. It's a much more simplified way of doing it compared to Luigi's Mansion, but it works, and it's still a fun time most of the time. The combat itself is honestly pretty clunky. There's no lock-on button and the camera never really works with you while fighting Stompers, who can also throw projectiles at you that you can only really avoid by sporadically running around. So yeah, not much in terms of combat, but it is fast-paced and therefore it isn't boring. During the second half of the game, your adventure will take you across the town and the objectives never really change. At one point, you'll be running around the streets of Retroville with the task of helping out familiar faces and collecting and attacking Twonkies. You'll venture through a park and help out familiar faces while attacking Twonkies, and then collecting them. Journey through an amusement park while searching for a missing Ultralord and collecting Twonkies, and traverse a shady radio station with the creepiest cutscene in a Nickelodeon game.
Say, with that big head, I bet you have a big voice. And just sign this recording contract.
My mom said I shouldn't talk to strangers. Gotta go!
Like, what's with this cutscene? It plays and then the characters just stand there like they didn't just make a child feel unsafe and almost like they're predators. You also have smaller side objectives like leading some llamas back into their pens, playing some fun arcade games to get the high score, and rocking the fuck out. The level design itself is honestly pretty good, aside from the lab in the beginning, which we need to talk about in a second, and the level on the Twonkies planet, which looks pretty bland and it's mostly just there because if it wasn't, the game would be half an hour shorter, and the game is already short enough as it is. But everything after that looks really good, and if you're a fan of the show, it's a lot of fun just running around exploring the environments. The park level has always had this warm sunset light feeling that just makes it a joy to play through. The amusement park is fun because it's an amusement park level and those are sick. The radio station is bright and full of extra doors to explore. But that first level, oh boy. As much as even to this day I love this game, it has to be one of the worst opening levels in licensed game history, if not game history. It's not that it's badly designed, it's just full of the slowest tutorial dialogue given by a literal robot, and she stops you in your feet, so you're forced to sit there and listen to her ramble on about things that could have easily just been text on the screen. This game also has boss fights, but in all honesty, they're some of the easiest boss fights ever, and I was able to beat them all in less than 5 minutes, including the final boss, which I basically dealt non-stop damage to him. So that's like, it's not even something to talk about. There are bosses in this game, but they're just there and they don't really make an impact. I mean, they're all kind of the same with different fucking like skins, so it's like if it's boring, like they're nothing special. I was happy to be done with it for this video. I mean, like I was happy to be done with it for this video. Like it's fun, and I'm happy I got to talk about one of my favorite childhood games, and even now I don't think it has aged all that terribly, but I can't see myself going back to it anytime soon. It's nice to have it in my collection, but in my collection it will stay. After all that hard work of collecting Twonkies all over the town, I sure could kick my legs up. Maybe have a party? Like a party animal? Barnyard.
We go head in the hay, we go head in the hay, we go rumble and tumble all night and day. We go head in the hay, we go head in the hay, with our backsides shaking, we go head in the hay.
Released in 2006 and being the most recent of the games I'm covering in this video, I didn't have any expectations at all going into this game. Like, I never really hear anybody talking about it, and it's a shame because I'm not gonna lie, I know a lot of people don't like it, but the movie it's based on I think is severely underrated. Color me surprised because Barnyard the video game is a pretty good fucking game. The game follows the plot of the movie, but instead of being a complete adaptation, it kinda just gives us a very basic outlining look at the events while focusing more on the gameplay in between. The gameplay is basically if Bully's open world and biking had sex with Mario Party's minigames, and they also invited Breath of the Wild's cooking and exploration, but when they had a baby, they decided to give it to parents who never really loved it to its full potential because there was always the elephant in the room that it wasn't really their baby, but they still loved it as much as they possibly could. What are we talking about again? The game makes a good first impression with the opening cutscene having some funny lines and quite a bit of personality.
Did you ever think of donating your body to, science?
Just be gentle with me, Otis. It's my first time.
Farmer!
Whoa! Pull me up! Pull me up!
Dude, you're a cow, I'm a mouse. Do the math.
Barnyard is basically an open world adventure game with a ton of mini games to play as missions. You choose from a variety of breeds and name your cow. I've named mine Chum Chum because that's fun to say. The open world itself is surprisingly big, but very easy to navigate and learn the layout of. It didn't take me long to be able to find my way around without checking the map. Let's talk about the open world before we get into the meat of the missions. There's a lot to say here, so bear with me. While exploring, you can find recipes, cook ingredients, flowers to pick. You can sneak around the forest and get some honey, which can be sold or also used as a cooking ingredient. You're eventually given this plant that you can plant and water with your titty milk to create a flower that you can climb that'll let you find secrets and money. There's also a money system in this game. You'll get awarded money for most missions and mini games you complete, but sometimes you're also given a gold rush token which you could put into a gold rush coin slot. You're then given a set amount of time to collect as many coins as you can. The money can be used to buy upgraded bikes, cooking ingredients, but mainly new mini games and decorations for the barn. You see, these animals are a special kind of breed, party animals. So every night, and yes, this game has a day and night cycle, the animals have a party in the barn which you can slowly upgrade throughout the game at your own pace by choosing what to add. And honestly, it's a really satisfying feature seeing it at the beginning compared to 6 hours in when you've invested thousands of coins into it and you start seeing the barn become this thing you've built. How's the music, you ask? Well, it kind of slaps actually. There's a lot of memorable tracks, with my personal favorite being the golfing music. And the nighttime music. The other tracks are just as pleasant to listen to and sometimes even add some comedy to the respective scenes. You're usually given up to 3 missions you can take on at once, and if they're daytime missions, you'll have to do them before nighttime, or try them again the next day, while nighttime missions must be completed before the sun comes back up, before having to try them again the following night. You can also skip to the next time of day or night by sleeping in your bed, which also helps you recover stamina faster. The mini games are honestly all a really good time. You got bicycle races, car chases with the police, golfing, teasing the mailman, throwing the baby chicks into the coop, controlling a flying chicken through rings, bartending but with milk, scaring off raccoons from stealing the farmer's vegetables, hide and seek with the baby chicks, mud jumpers, which is where you have to knock each other off platforms using a spinning water pipe, and that's like just scratching the surface. You even buy more mini games as you like make your barn better, and those are fun too. After playing through a minigame once, you get the chance to go back and play it whenever you want, but you also still get missions having you revisit those minigames with the difficulty going up each time you replay it. And this is actually where one of my biggest gripes with this game comes in. There are so many fantastic minigames, but during the story, it feels like they sometimes reuse the same 3 over and over again in a single chapter. To prove my point, I will now give you a quick mission by mission rundown. Otis challenges us to some go for golf, and afterwards challenges us to beat his can shooting record on the golf course, which we do with ease. Then we're tasked with finding ingredients to make the farmer a cake. One of those ingredients is butter, which we can buy in the gopher shop or make it ourselves by putting some milk in this canister, then turning it into cream and choosing to either keep the cream or shaking it further into butter and putting it in our inventory. We grab an egg from the chicken den hen thing and go steal some honey in the forest by sneaking around groups of patrolling bees and stealing the honey from their nest when they're not around, but don't get stung. We cook the ingredients together to make the cake and maybe even make a fruit salad while we're at it, but shh, that'll be our little secret. secret. We spent 800 coins on upgrades for the barn because we worked for it. Treat yourself. Freddy, one of our carnivorous friends who's trying to live a vegetarian life, loses it and starts to have gay thoughts, and we stop him from eating all the cock. So now it's the next day and Otis invites us to golf the back nine, which, keep in mind, this is the second time he's invited us to play golf, but it's fine because the minigame is fairly new and it's fun because it's not regular golf. You shoot your first shot and depending on how good it is, it'll give you a head start towards the hole, and for the rest of the game you control a gopher in the ground and throw the ball into the hole, and it's honestly a creative spin on golf and it's pretty fun for now. Then Daisy, who by the way gets the standout award for worst performance in the game hands down.
I am so sorry about Ben.
Like, a part of me is convinced they got a literal AI to play this bitch. Anyway, it's Everett the dog's 13th birthday and everyone wants to have some charity games in order to raise 1,000 coins to send him off on a long vacation where I'm assuming he's getting the old Lassie treatment. We play a game of mud jumpers, and usually I love this game, but this time with the increased difficulty, I found myself getting frustrated as I continually lost to this pink fat thumb. The next game is chicken launch. So the controls are inverted, and they don't tell you, which means if you're not used to inverted controls, and really who is, you're probably going to have a small learning curve, but it's fine because the actual minigame is short but fast paced and a lot of fun. The next game is a 2-lap race against the Jersey Cows, and the bike races are also a lot of fun, especially since the bike has very responsive controls, with my only gripe being the camera. I wish it let us see more of what was coming ahead since sharp corners can be hard to get through at times. The next game is Sharp Squirter, and I really don't like this one. There's no challenge. You're just running around shooting cans with your milk jugs, and it's slow paced and can go up to 3 very boring rounds. Final game is another round of Go for Golf, and I gotta say, it was here when the golfing game started to irk me a bit, but it was fine because I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for Everett, the goddamn dog. So we raise enough money, send Everett on his way, but first we throw him a party where we have this bartender and the minigame is fun, but damn do I find it difficult. At night during a party at the Barnyard, Ben is attacked by fucking coyotes and dies.
That night, we lost Ben. He was our leader and our friend.
Excuse me, we have been throwing parties and teasing mailmen, and now we're dealing with death? Imagine if Luigi fucking died in the middle of a Mario Marty sesh. So the next day, we meet up with Otis by the golf course, and he's, I can't believe Dad's gone and I'm now in charge. Hey, how about some golf? Except this time, instead of doing 9 holes at a time, which is how we've been doing it the first 3 times, which by the way is already 27 fucking holes, we now have to do all 18 holes. And so I spent 25 fucking minutes playing golf when I wanted to play Barn fucking Yard, but it's fine, because golf is behind us. There's no way there's another golf course mission after this. We finally did all 18 holes at once. We get it done, and that night, Joey asked us to bring us scrap metal for a shop. Whatever, he's hooked us up with a ton of stuff at the barn at this point, and after that, the Jersey Cows asked us to go on a joyride, and this is the second one. But I like these because we actually go down different streets and the car controls are surprisingly responsive and easy to maneuver. They're not the best, like they're not fucking Crash Nitro car controls, but they're also not Garfield car controls. So the next day the Jersey Cows challenge us to a bike race, and just like the Joyride games, these are fun because it's always a different path with increasingly difficult AI. I just wish they were spaced out a bit more with more variety in between, but whatever. We beat them at the race, and then Otis challenged us to play golf again. Jesus Christ, Otis, at this rate you might as well run for president of the United States. So we play some stupid golf for golf, and I gotta say, this time around I make some hole-in-ones, and that did lift my spirits a bit. So we finally finished the 5th game of golf in a span of 3 hours, and then my game decides it's the perfect time to crash. So I sit there looking at the dark abyss as my reflection stares back at me on my TV, gazing into my own eyes, allowing me to see the sadness in the shadows of brown. I whisper to myself, fuck this. And that's Barnyard, a game that I was set on finishing and dedicated almost 7 hours to, just to lose 3 hours of progress because I forgot to fucking save. But overall, the game was still a really good time. Even when I was getting tired of the same joyride, bike race, or golf mission, there was still a ton of other games to play anytime I wanted a break. And even though I started with the mindset of, okay, I have to finish this game as fast as possible in order to get the video out, I ended up actually spending a lot of time just running around and doing my own side stuff because I was having fun. I would run around and look for secret areas, go find some ingredients to see what foods I can make, and participate in a bunch of Gold Rush minigames. And I'll even admit, as repetitive as it can be, the increasing difficulty of the minigames that did repeat a lot, every time you replay them, it does add a nice bit of challenge, and it takes away from the monotony that would have come with it if it had been as easy as it was the first time. I honestly still see myself going back to finish the game off screen, but for now, I refuse to go near it considering I have 3 hours of the same minigames to play. Overall, Barnyard was a fun time and I'm happy I played it, but I gotta say, the next and final game I don't even have a segue for. I'm just hoping it's as good as as it was when I was a child. SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie game. Now, SpongeBob SquarePants is easily one of the most rewatchable shows for me. Keep in mind, like many people, I'm mainly referring to the first 3 seasons, and admittedly some episodes of season 4 and 5, but I constantly go back to rewatch those early seasons, and it's so damn comforting. Same goes for the first SpongeBob movie. I've loved this movie since the first time I watched it, and as an adult, and as someone who loves to watch movies with a critical thought process, the movie still holds up as much as it did when I was younger. The same went for the game. I put more hours into this game than any other game, I'm sure. I even remember maxing out the level up system bar way past to the point where I could even level up either SpongeBob or Patrick just because I loved running around collecting macho points, even if they just gave me that one macho point at a time, baby. This game has just been sitting on my shelf since I bought it again a few months ago, and I'm so mad I didn't do this video way earlier, because it would have meant replaying this fun ass game again way sooner. Immediately I was pulled in and having a bunch of fun. The controls are smoother than McDonald's butter on a hotcake, and the music is a symphony composed by angels who make really good SpongeBob themed music. Let's take off these rose tinted glasses real quick and point out how much of the story is presented here, and it fucking sucks. Now, the game comes with cutscenes animated in the style of the game, and those are great, but the major events that keep the story going are told using stills from the movie with a mix of narration and some reused voices from the movie, and I hate when games do this. God, do I hate it. It pulls me out, and I always end up on my phone. It's like someone uploaded stills from the movie on TikTok and I'm watching that, but luckily these aren't the only types of cutscenes, if we can even call them that. In the game, we also have, like I said, in-game cutscenes with actual animation, and these are good.
SpongeBob! What's up, Patrick? You have got to try this new dot broom game. Dot! Where?
It's a very simple platformer, but the controls are so responsive that it just makes it a good time to play. The jumping feels good, the attacks are effective, and as you get further you get more attacks which you can also upgrade, including your health, using macho points, which are weights of different values you find throughout the levels. Aside from the platforming levels, there are battle challenges where you find waves of enemies, and these are fun as well, especially since you can like smack an enemy and they'll go rolling back into a bunch of other enemies, which lets you cause a chain reaction, killing all of them, and that's satisfying as fuck. There are sliding levels where you just race down a mountain looking for switches or something to destroy. There are driving missions with a Patty Mobile, and these easily could have sucked, but those controls, baby, those smooth butter controls. It's kind of crazy how I don't really have many jokes to make or even all that much to say when it comes to this game, because a part of me was expecting to hate it and talk shit, but like seeing how well it's aged and how much fun I had playing through it, all I have is praise for this game. I'm trying to nitpick things to complain about, but really outside of the stills from the movie being used as cutscenes, I can't think of anything. I love the levels, the music, and it comes with so much to do that I'm too busy having fun to be upset, and after losing all my progress in Barnyard, maybe that's what I needed. Maybe the ending to this video isn't a miserable quiet march across the finish line, but a tired, bruised, yet hopeful hallelujah. Just maybe. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I'm going to try to do more content like this, but also I kind of just upload whatever it is that I feel like uploading, so I hope you guys enjoy that too. Hit that like button if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button if you want more. And on that note, let's end this. I almost said level, but it's actually a video. Let's end the video here. Bye.